Yo, it's your Master Sword wielding weapon durability isn't that bad, Savi. This is video 2 of 3 that I will upload before the release of Tears of the Kingdom. If you haven't already, check out the first video that focuses on the story of Breath of the Wild. As for the second video, let's hop straight into it and talk about gameplay. Look, let's get it out of the way. Weapon durability honestly isn't that bad. Yes, at the start of the game it's really fucking annoying and it feels like it happens often. I think it keeps the player on their toes and makes fights more engaging. When fighting tough enemies like guardians, frantically trying to swap between weapons is thrilling. Weapon breaking is something you have to get used to. The game does prompt the player with a text box that says your blank is close to breaking. One of the most satisfying things to do when that text box does appear, Link can throw the breaking weapon at the enemy, and that sound is just so satisfying. There are multiple weapon types, with each having its own stats. The higher the stats, the better the attack and durability. The lower the stats, the worse attack and durability. There are tons of weapon types: bats, boomerangs, clubs, hammers, rods, spears, axes, shields, and bows. Even the Master Sword has its own stats and durabilities. It is the best weapon in the game, but instead of breaking like the rest, the Master Sword would need to recharge until its next use. Here's an awesome thing introduced in this game. When Link jumps and uses the bow at the same time, he enters bullet time or slow-mo. It gets activated allowing more time for accuracy with the bow at the cost of some stamina. I have a bias towards two-handed weapons, for sure slow, but once you get that spin going for that slam, it's a I totally get some players can never get used to the weapons breaking, but I think it's nothing compared to the goddamn fucking rain. If you don't have Rivali's Gales, it's a nightmare. Basically, a selling point and one of the innovative things about Breath of the Wild is the climbing mechanic. Link can climb your mom, that wall, not this wall, but can climb that mountain or this tree. Might as well do nothing, go rest somewhere, or fuck around until it stops raining, because that rain is so fucking slippery. Anyways, Breath of the Wild uses all the best things about past games here. Skyward Sword stamina bar, Breath of the Wild gets. Wind Waker and Skyward Sword glider mechanic, Breath of the Wild gets. Gliding and climbing in combination with stamina are a great addition to the series and bring many different ways to tackle problems. As I briefly mentioned in the last video, Link awakens towers and shrines all across the world. Towers are what you think they are, something that unlocks part of the map that a lot of games were and still do. Each region offers a different climate. It can be tropical, snowy, swampy, desert, or volcano. There are plenty of unique areas to explore. Their weather will have an effect on Link, especially areas such as deserts and snowy mountains. Link will take damage to the proper clothes or consume something with cold or heat resistance. Breath of the Wild does not have crafting like a lot of open world games, but for sure as hell has cooking. Link can mix and match 5 different ingredients. The finished food can be as simple as additional hearts, more stamina, or even take away hearts. The game does encourage you to cook, since one of the early shrines is in a snowy mountain. Without proper attire, it's tough. Food can give perks like cold or heat resistance and attack up or defense up. The animation Link performs with cookings are precious. One of the main things the players will be doing are shrines. Shrines can be considered mini dungeons and can roughly be broken up into 3 types. Puzzle shrines are just as it sounds. Use those brain cells. Strength shrines test the player's ability in combat, minor, modest, and major. Last being other shrines. Can be a combination of both or none, sometimes uncovering or locating the shrines were more the challenge itself, such as shrine quests. Each shrine is named after the respective monk that lies within. The monks are a member of the Sheikah clan who are devoted to the goddess Hylia. Each monk is unique with having its own jewelry and clothing, but the main sole purpose is to aid Link in the fight with Calamity Ganon. Every shrine has a hidden chest and a spirit orb to collect. Spirit orb's sole purpose is to upgrade. Dying too often, not enough stamina, will exchange those spirit orbs at your local goddess statue for a sweet upgrade. Link can upgrade 30 times if you do all the shrines. Out of 120 shrines, only 4 required, and those being rune shrines. The stasis rune stops objects in its place, and it can be used to build kinetic energy for the object to fly. Cryonosis rune allows Link to walk on water, but really just freezes water into massive blocks. To me, this rune for sure could have more potential. Magnesis rune uses the forbidden magic that is magnets. Last is Zelda staples, the remote bomb, or just how it sounds, remotely detonate a bomb. No longer are the days of buying bombs or needing a bigger bomb bag. The bombs are on a recharge now, but more importantly, the glory that are square bombs. Same thing as a regular bomb, but square and doesn't roll as much. Divine Beast and to some extent Hyrule Castle can be considered main dungeons. Each Divine Beast works the same. Locate and activate all the terminals within the beast by rotating them to reach said terminals to face off against the blights. Honestly, not as challenging as it sounds, just time consuming. Hyrule Castle is more just finding the final boss door, but with many obstacles in the way. Breath of the Wild has the most collectibles out of any Zelda game. Spirit orbs, the Hyrule Compendium that take a photo of every weapon and animal, memories from the quest locked mementos that regains Link's memories to help the player understand their relationship with other characters, especially with Zelda. The 77 side quests to complete, dozens of armor sets to find. There's also the 4 great fairy fountains with their very voluptuous hosts that can upgrade armor for a cost, of course. The horse god, the secret horses, Ganon's horse, Zelda's horse, and the Lord of the Mountains, who unfortunately can't be tamed, plenty to fucking do. One of the most time-consuming things to do, collecting Korok seeds that are scattered throughout the world. These can be as easy as lifting up a rock for that these cute little forest creatures called Koroks. Others can be a race, shoot a balloon or 2, or even throw a rock into a pile of rock. Collecting 900 seeds is an absolute nightmare, and unlike shrines, Koroks aren't as obvious and bullshit to find without a guide. The bright outside, these seeds can be exchanged for inventory upgrade. Inventory space is very limited at first and shitty when you have to drop weapons to make room. For full inventory, it will cost 441 seeds and a lot of searching. Again, this is optional and don't need to upgrade anything if you don't want to. Let's not forget about enemies. Zelda games have iconic enemies and Breath of the Wild is no stranger to that. The little dumb shits that are bokoblins, the sneaky lizard people that are Lizalfos, the annoying as hell Wizrobes, small rock things, and 9 other enemy types to encounter throughout the journey. Bats, Wizrobes, and others will come in different elemental types. There are even overworld bosses, Taluses, Hinoxes, and Madugas. There's even a group who's sworn their allegiance to Calamity Ganon called the Giga Clan. But they suck and for whatever reason are obsessed with bananas. The Giga are more of a nuisance than a challenge. There are 2 enemies in particular that make combat fun. First being the Lionels. Lionels are massive horse, bull, man, lion things that are very intimidating at first glance. Once a Lionel spots you, it doesn't attack you immediately and just stares you down for a short period of time. After that, it will begin attacking using exclusively Lionel gear and wielding a variety of weapons from swords, shields, spears, and a crusher. Lionels can even one-hand, two-handed weapons. That's some scary shit. As well as use every arrow type except ancient arrows. These dudes are vicious and they have the ability to teleport to Link if he tries to flee. Here's what makes Lionels scary. These in particular come in different colors, increasing their health. Lionels come in 5 colors: regular, blue, white, silver, and Master Mode exclusive gold Lionels, in which you can encounter a gold one just minutes after the opening cutscene. Lionels take some practice, but once you manage to defeat one, it's satisfying as hell. Also, bokoblins, moblins, and Lizalfos come in different colors as well. Next, an enemy that was shown off very early, an enemy that's like no other, something that's genuinely unique to Breath of the Wild. These come in 9 different versions: Decayed, Turret, Skywatcher, Guardian Scouts 1 through 4, Sentry, and the main one, Stalker. Guardians are an awesome and fresh enemy type to the series, but are fucking terrifying. Okay, just look at what this Guardian did to me. What the f am I supposed to do here? Unlike Lionels, who can wield anything and have all these crazy abilities, Guardians literally do one thing and do that one thing very well: lasers. Just listen to the Guardian theme. Tell me this is not menacing as f. Guardians were built by ancient Sheikah and were uncovered alongside the divine beasts. So Breath of the Wild makes sure there's always enemies to encounter. A blood moon will occur every 2 hours and 48 minutes or every 7 unskipped days in-game, resurrecting any enemies you have taken out. If you play for long periods of time, blood moons will feel like it happens often. Now for the main bosses in the game. As I mentioned in the last video, the champions were defeated by Ganon's Blights: Fire, Wind, Water, and Thunder. After solving the Divine Beast puzzles, Link will face off with one of the Blights to free the beast. Each Blight is unique with its own challenges, but for sure tests the player's combat abilities, especially with Thunder Blight Ganon. Man oh man, this fight was really tough at first. Being Zelda's appointed knight, Link, the player, needs to do what the champions were not able to do and defeat these Blights. Definitely trial and error with these Blights. Calamity Ganon looks very intimidating. This fight is actually one of the funner ones to do. Calamity pulls no punches. Being trapped in a room with nowhere to hide, Link has no choice but to end it. If the player isn't careful, Calamity can one-shot you, making this encounter a lot more stressful. This fight expects/encourages the player to utilize everything you learned up to this point. Parry the lasers, dodge into a flurry rush, use the champion's blessings, consume all your inventory. I think it's one of the better fights in all the Zelda games. Spoilers ahead, but all the stressfulness, that feeling the player conquered it all, the adrenaline, the momentum gets stopped hard. To shoot light arrows at a barely moving massive pig at the end of the game. Beast Ganon is the final fight in this game and pretty bland. With that, it's GG's. This has been more or less the gameplay to Breath of the Wild. There's plenty I didn't cover. There's so much to do, learn, discover, hidden details everywhere. I felt I couldn't fit all of it here without ranting for hours. You can get really lost in the world of Breath of the Wild. What do you think of Breath of the Wild's gameplay? What are some things you don't or do like about Breath of the Wild? I personally think weapon breaking isn't that bad. Let me know in the comment section below. Check back for the last video where I give my final thoughts for Breath of the Wild and my hopes and dreams for Tears of the Kingdom. This is Savi, and this has been The Vibes. Laters.